Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 39. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I'm your host, Todd Oxtra, joined by the man upstairs and to the far east, Mark, the Canardian Carabin. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I am upstairs in my house. It's rather warm. It is a very muggy day here, and so it's very sticky. And but it wasn't a nice day. Like, we didn't really have a nice beach kind of weekend. It's one of those like overcast but very like sticky kind of days. So the man upstairs is definitely upstairs in my house and sweaty. But I'm enjoying being here, and I can't wait to talk some video games with you.
Yes, I moved to Minnesota not to be hot.
Right.
So, and if you live in Canada, you're naturally probably insulated to a point where heat is not needed as much as other people. But I get it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we have some nice summers here, like where I am, but it doesn't get like as cold here as like it does where Sean and those guys live, like northern Alberta, like where my sister is. Like, it is cold there. It never gets that cold here. But we're like, I mean, I'm on an island, right? So we're surrounded by water.
You're insulated by water, so you get all the moisture.
Sticky.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. It's going to get moist. Why do I keep saying that word? This is like the second week in a row.
Wow, Mark, you really know how
I've worked moisture and moistness into a conversation. So thank you to our 6 subscribers who are left for sticking with me after I've said that word numerous times.
Come for the video games. Come for the humidity.
That's it. It's frying my brain. So let's maybe talk about video games before I say more words that people don't like.
From the heat and the COVID. We're here to talk about video games, folks. So Mark and I have been playing some video games. I don't know, have you gotten to a rhythm with the baby? How's that going?
Getting there. Yeah, okay. Getting there for sure. I've been able to jump back into a little bit of Fortnite. Didn't write that I was playing that, so that's not really one of the games that I've I wanted to talk about, but I've been playing some Fortnite on my iPad Pro, which is a fun little change because of 2 big reasons. One, if you drop the graphics quality down to medium, you can run it at 120 frames per second, which is silky, ridiculous smooth.
So you're like what, 280p?
No, it's actually fairly good. Like, it still looks like Switch quality or better, which is nice. So it's totally playable and silky smooth. And also, I'm playing with an Xbox controller on a 12.9-inch iPad Pro screen against other mobile players. So most of these people are, I'm going to say, kids with shitty cell phones using touch controls.
And so you're essentially playing on a PC.
I've had like 5 victory royales in a row.
Yes.
Because nobody can touch me. Like, it's just, I almost feel bad, but I kind of don't. So I'm tearing up with Fortnite. But yeah, that's not even one of the games I wanted to play or say that I've been playing. But yeah, Finn's definitely finding a rhythm. He's sleeping more and at a more reasonable time. So he goes usually down around 9 o'clock, and he'll sleep for a good 5-6 hour stretch, which gives me a little bit of video game time. And then I go to bed and get some rest before he's up again. So we're definitely finding a rhythm.
Nice. Yeah. When I remember Logan didn't really sleep very well, but the naps were perfect. I'm like, I know he's going to typically take maybe 1 or 2 naps, and that's when I could hone in on gaming. When he's awake, I'll clean and fold laundry and do that kind of stuff. But I want to enjoy some time when I can focus. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, Mark, you and I are both playing a game. You were able to get us a couple of codes, and thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem. I was very happy to get the codes that we got for Ottoman Empire. So this is a game from a new studio, and it's available on everything, which is awesome. Let me grab a little info about this game. Basically, so yeah, it's kind of Splatoon meets Mario Kart. It is, like I said, available on Switch, Xbox One, and Steam right now. I don't think it's available for PS4. I could be mistaken right there. So we've both played it on Switch, and I also grabbed it on Xbox to see what it looked, because it runs in 4K on the Xbox One X, which is really nice. So that's basically it. So it's what you play as an otter. At first, and then there's like a team of more fun little characters you can unlock as you go through. There is a solo campaign, but we kind of, I think we both feel the same way about the solo campaign. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the main crux of this game is the competitive multiplayer. Like I said, Splatoon meets Mario Kart. So it's Tryhard Interactive. They're a UK team. They've been working on this for 3 years, I think. So first off, I want to say that any single video game that is released impresses me, especially when it's a new team working on a game, multiple console and PC releases all at the same time is a super heavy undertaking for an indie team. And I think what they've done here, while it might not be the most polished AAA game, I thought was cute as hell. I like the kind of cell shaded look of some of the people, and the character models and the characters themselves have a ton of personality. I love the dude with the colander thing on his head. Just hilarious. Like, they're so goofy and stuff. So that's that. Now, there are some negative things about this game as well. Like I said, the single player isn't that bad. But it kind of feels like a training ground for multiplayer, right? It's kind of simple. Grab this piece, bring it over here, defeat this enemy, do this, do that. Kind of training you to like follow and shoot and basically maneuver the stages and get used to the controls. You feel the same way?
I did. The game has the aesthetics, I would say, of like an early 360 game. I mean, we're not talking about because the character models are fairly simplistic, but they're charming, they're cute. This feels like there was a game back in the day, I can't remember what it was called, but it was, once again, fuzzy animals shooting each other, having some fun. And I think the campaign mode did feel like it was multiplayer, I guess, levels, but they wanted to give you a little bit of a story and have fun. So there's a villain and, you're playing around and just having fun. And I mean, there's a couple things that kind of annoyed me about the game. It's the lack of ammo. I felt like I ran out of ammo so quickly, and then it's like, I need more ammo.
Very quick, yeah.
And there's no melee attack either, where I thought there could be a melee attack to hit boxes where maybe it might reveal like ammo and different power-ups. There are power-ups in this game as well. So that wasn't either. So I felt like I started really getting into a rhythm, and I'm like, I'm out of ammo. So now I got to go and find more ammo, because I played the demo. And I have to admit, this feels exactly like the demo. It didn't feel like they made any changes. So I kind of some concerns there. But I think there's a solid base here where they can keep tweaking and making some changes. And I think it could really be, something really fun.
For the lack of ammo thing, that never bothered me because I looked at it like Splatoon. So in Splatoon, you're constantly running out of ink and you have to dive into the thing. And in this game, you dive into the water to replenish your gear as well.
Wait, I didn't realize that you could do that.
Yeah. You dive into the water and it replenishes everything. No. So that's
okay. So
I started really planning my attacks.
That makes more sense then, because I'm like, where is
you were looking for the actual power ups, because there are actual pickup power ups.
So I'm like, I'm out of ammo. So where's the thing? And it was hard to find. So I'm like, I feel like I'm spending more time looking than actually interacting. So this is once again one of those things like I feel dumb. So there you go.
And to be fair, that is in the tutorial. In the first stage of the tutorial, after jumping.
Okay, so in the tutorial, I will say this: I felt like I was trying to go to the next thing in the tutorial and it said skip. I'm like,
oh,
but I'm like, can I just go to the next thing in the tutorial? Versus, I don't want to skip the tutorial.
The whole thing.
Exactly. I'm like, so okay, what am I doing here? So
just gone.
Reading is fundamental. Maybe I didn't do the right things, Mark. Stop abusing me.
It's I mean, that's fair. That's but yeah, so that part never really bothered me because it helped me kind of strategically. So I was like, okay, I have to take out that turret. So I'm gonna, even like stealthily kind of sneak past it. It's facing this way. I'm going to go past it that way in the water, jump up, shoot that, spin around, shoot the things in the air that are trying to shoot me down or slow me down or whatever. And so I thought, that part never really bothered me. But if you're looking for it in crates or whatever, it's definitely going to be frustrating because they're not spread around as much as the river system is throughout most of the stages.
There it is. And I feel like they could take some cues from Ratchet and Clank because it's very much that type of platforming, guns and things like that. So I think if they took some just hints to say, what are they doing right with because they do such good mechanics with their weapons and things like that. I think they could incorporate some of that. And the cool part about this game, it can be updated. They can add things to tweak it because like they're a new studio. I think this is great that they're doing this. I was looking at Steam, just even some of the things. And yes, I was looking even on Steam. It's all shared split screen.
Yikes. Okay.
Which PC, that doesn't happen,
so that's,
I think, at all.
So that's the next thing we got to talk about is the multiplayer. This is a multiplayer-centric game for sure. Like we said, the single player is focused on getting you multiplayer ready, basically, is how we feel about it, I think. However, like Todd just alluded to, it's all shared screen multiplayer, which is fine. That is fun. There are not enough games with split screen, shared screen multiplayer anymore. However, during COVID, when it's discouraging people from maybe inviting others over to the house now, and we're kind of in different situations too. So if we were people who had like big families or kids, like if you had, say another kid or two that were all around Logan's age, you guys could all gather around the TV and play and all that kind of stuff. It would probably be a lot more fun for like a family game night. My wife took one look at this, the only other gamer in my house. But the second she sees twin sticks, one stick to move, one stick for cameras, she's out. Doesn't matter what it is. She just does not like any kind of twin stick. She humored me with Splatoon for a couple of minutes before just saying, you know what, screw it. They're just not her type of game. So I don't have anyone to play this with. No, I have been able to see my brother, but he took a week off of vacation and took off up the coast to my family's little cottage up there. So I haven't even seen him in like 2 weeks or so. So I haven't been able to say.
Playing it because he's playing on the little TV. He's playing N64, right?
Yes, exactly. So this we were talking before we record, and I said this in the summertime years ago would have been amazing because we had me and my brother, all my cousins around, several other cottages that were close by that all had kids our age. Rainy days in the summertime, like, nice days, we're all at the beach, but rainy days, we'd all go up to the barn, my grandparents' place, and just game. That was like the N64 days. It was perfect. And this game reminds me so much of those kind of games and those kind of feelings. But I don't have people anymore to play with.
Gather some strange kids, Mark. Just say, right? Hey, kids, want to come over and play some games?
Neighborhood kids, I guess. But like they're not in my bubble, my my Rona bubble. So it's not a good time. I've been talking to Barry Dunn, who did an Impact Direct. If you haven't seen that, you want some footage of this game, head over to Impact. Is it Impact Game Station on YouTube, and check out. He has 4K footage again from Xbox One, and he did a direct that had Switch footage. So if you want to see the comparison between the two, the Switch one looks fine, but definitely not as clear and detailed. Obviously, as 4K stuff on the Xbox, but it runs perfectly fine on Switch. So I'm really hoping that they add multiplayer. And not only multiplayer, I'm hoping they add cross-platform multiplayer, so we can fully just whether you have PC, Switch, Xbox, whatever it is, if they eventually release it for PlayStation, or maybe it is, and I missed that in the press release. I hope they add some more, and I hope they keep adding to this game. And even as is, I think this game adding online multiplayer would be a game changer for it.
Absolutely. And I think the fact that this really probably was that they wanted that fun multiplayer experience, and maybe like going back. And the fact is, yes, it's like launching at the wrong time for that. Similar to, I don't know, do you have Quibi in Canada?
Is that the celebrity mini video thing?
It's the online service that was made for mobile. You couldn't play it. It wasn't on your TV or anything. It was basically for people that were gonna, basically be commuting. Launched right in the middle of COVID. Then they've lost 90% of their audience because it's like, oh, bad timing. Yeah, COVID just wow. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping that this game will see continual additions and tweaks and adding multiplayer. I don't know what it takes to do those type of things, but that's probably the way they intended it to be. I think they really wanted this to be a multiplayer game, and without that, it's very hard to really give it a fair shake.
And that's it. Like, we can sit here and say, add online multiplayer, and it's like, I wouldn't know how to do that. Like, I wouldn't know the first
Switch.
thing.
Where's the Switch, Mark?
I know, right? Yeah, it's just that's a switch that you flick on. Yeah. I have no idea. I don't even know where I'd start Googling how to do that in a game. Like,
Google doesn't have the answer either. Come on.
I'm sure I could Google like how to develop a game and get some sort of like basic thing of like, okay, well, you should write it in this code, and maybe this is a free engine you could use, or here's a class to take. I don't know. I'm guessing I could like at least Google the first steps of making a game. I'm not sure even what like adding multiplayer online to a game. Is that what I'd Google? Like these people that do this kind of stuff are so far beyond my understanding.
/add internet.
That's
all.
That's it.
Back in my DOS programming
flick that
days,
toggle on, I guess. I don't know.
Hook up your landline.
You just plug it into the series of tubes, don't you? That's all. Right. That's anyway. So Ottoman Empire.
Game's not round; it's square. So how does it fit in?
I know it's terribly complicated.
It's not round though.
Right. But this is a digital game, so it's already on the internet. So they have to plug in other internets to the internets that this game is on. Therefore, and then, yeah.
Wait, does Prodigy.net still work?
Sure.
That's probably where it's going.
That's yeah, exactly. What was the GameCube? No, it was a GameCube that had the like. Basically underground online, like warp pipe or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
like they figured out online and like wizards. I don't know how these people do any of this stuff. Anyway, Ottoman Empire. It is out now. Check it out especially if you have people to play it with in your house. If I even like Finn was old enough to hold a controller, I'd be saying, hey, let's shoot each other. But I think this is one of those games that 100% better with like 4 people, just like old school Mario Kart. Like, I think, I think that's the way to go. So, good party game. But anyway, that's Ottoman Empire. Thank you guys for the code. The code
thank you.
For that one. So very much appreciated.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing, Tom?
Well, I finished The Last of Us 2. I won't go into much details. The game was longer than I thought. It was about a good 25 hours.
All right.
Some would say maybe too long.
That was my first question was going to be, is it padded?
I think for what they wanted to do, I think it made sense. But as I was going through, I'm like, how far am I? And I'm like, that chapter. I always look at walkthroughs, like just not to see to spoil it, but just to see how many chapters are there. And I look and I'm like, and then it says something and it repeats. I'm like, why would it repeat? And I'm like, now I know why. But regardless, right. The biggest thing right now, this game is getting a lot of backlash from people who are threatening the talent of this game.
Terrible.
Which is just horrible. Mm-hmm. It's a video game, folks. This is not anything that will impact you in any way, except, yes, maybe it didn't go the way you want to. But to impact and call out the actors and give them death threats for a role they're playing. Guys, these aren't the people in the game. They're just actors. So it just discourages me so much because I get it. I don't like things as well, but I would never act for harm to become of the talent involved or a football team or anything. It just seems so. I struggle with it.
Yeah, even if you're the type of person to be angry, if they made a decision that made you angry, made you hate the game, and made you stop playing it, or was the worst choice they possibly ever could have made, it's the writer's fault. And still don't send death threats to the writers, because that's just not a good thing to do to any person. It's a game. Come on, get over it.
So outside of that, and I understand where people just would be upset with this game. And yes, the writers knew what they were doing. They didn't go in to say, I'm going to do these things and everybody will love it. No, it's just not the way it was supposed to be. They did this for a story and an overall story arc, which I found at times challenging, frustrating, very cathartic, exhausting, and touching. And I came away with, I was not happy with how the game ended, but I was satisfied from the sense it did what it needed to do. So if that doesn't get you what
that's
you
what she said,
books, exactly. But really, I really liked how they changed up some of the gameplay. It's a beautiful game, and it's one of those games that even though I love it, I will never play this game again. It's like I don't know how many people go out to see Schindler's List a second or a third time. It's sorry not to bring that game up, because I know there's some internet controversy about comparing that game to this, but it's not all games are supposed to be happy. They're not all supposed to make you feel good after it. And I think that shows a maturity in the way the media is going. And if they can push people to have these intense emotions, hopefully without any dire impact to real people and things, in a positive way, telling a story, I think we're going somewhere. So Mark, I think I kind of put this out there, and I'm surprised. I'm going to be doing a spoiler cast roundtable discussion. Mark, I don't know when you will ever get to play this game, or if you have any want to play this game.
Yeah, right now it's very low on my list of things I want to play or care about, kind of thing. The first game was good. I enjoyed it, but I'm not clamoring for a sequel. I haven't turned my PlayStation on since Spider-Man, I suppose. So if my PlayStation goes on again, it's probably going to be for another game that's not this one. So chances of me playing this fairly low. But I'm looking forward to hearing the roundtable of what everyone thinks about. And I chimed in and said, do it with everyone you can and get as many voices.
I would ask you to be like, well, yeah, we're going to talk about this, because I think this game needs discussion in a way that is filled with spoilers. A lot of people are doing this, but the people that I think are going to be on this podcast will be, I think, each have a unique voice on it, which is what exactly what I want.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, so that'll probably come out. We're going to record next week, and most likely it'll come out probably middle of the following week, just because of the cadence of the way we release the podcast. So, cool. But yeah, it's one of the best games I've played this year.
Awesome. Good to hear. For me, I've been playing something that's, equally dark in its story and tone, and definitely more on a serious note, and I guess turns a dark mirror on society, and that is of course the Animal Crossing summer update. And I'm full of shenanigans, but yeah, I have been playing the Animal Crossing summer update. It is as delightful as the rest of this game has been. It added not only new bugs and fish and things to do and find in the world and all that kind of fun stuff, but it also added swimming, so you can get a wetsuit and jump off of the rocks and the dock and everything else and swim about and find little sea creatures underneath the water. And it's delightful. You can get Pascal, who will come up and trade you, and he's such a little stoner hippie. It is fantastic. So it's just a fun little update. If you're like me and you started to kind of slow down your Animal Crossing addiction, let's say, then this might give you a little bit to to jump in and play on, no pun intended on the jumping in the water. But anyway, dive in. That one was intended.
I do have an Animal Crossing related question mark.
Sure.
Have you been on Nook or No Nook yet?
No, I have not.
You need to get on that. Now, I am not a Nintendo, I'm not an Animal Crossing fan, but what Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo guru, is doing is pretty funny. If you're a fan of Deal or No Deal, Bobby Pauls is basically essentially recreating that with cases filled with bells. Yep. And he used T-shirts apparently to make the numbers on the cases, which is so weird. To tell you how you have to do things in Animal Crossing, I'm like, it just takes like a mad genius to come up with this stuff, and Bobby has really sunk his life into this game.
He really has.
Because you know what he tells you, like, I'll be free to play some other games in December. I'm like,
yeah.
Bobby, you've gone like The Last of Us is one of his favorite games. I keep on bugging him every day, every chance I get. And he told me he doesn't even have PlayStation 4 Pro. That's how he wants to play the game for Last of Us 2. So I even gifted him a 3-month Game Pass subscription.
Oh my God.
And he still doesn't do it. I mean, come on. So, but
crazy.
I appreciate his passion. Mark, you need to be on Nook, No Nook. He would love to.
I haven't even been on Bobby's Island, to be honest. I really need to go. Yeah, I've visited a few like good islands, but that's not one. So I was actually talking to Bobby today. I should have brought that up. And I definitely will. Yeah, man, some people are doing some amazing stuff, and he is one of them with his Animal Crossing stuff. And like, especially where in the last few weeks, I have definitely slowed down my Animal Crossing playtime for sure. So I need to get back into it. I was also talking to my sister about just the summer update and all that kind of stuff. And she was catching things and finding things that I didn't. So I was like, you know what? I have to get back into this. So I think in the next little bit, that'll be a focus of getting back in and seeing everything that I missed and visiting some cool islands. So Bobby, I'm coming for you.
Nice.
Yeah. What's next on your list? I see you played something that I just watched this. What do you call it? Direct, I suppose, today. So I want to hear all about it.
Okay, this is the crazy thing. We're going to talk about this actual event in the news, but Devolver Digital, they publish very unique games, very indie-minded and over the top, and their event every year is always something to watch and sometimes be disgusted by or horrified by. But this year they did something really cool, and they basically created a PC demo of their event. You play in Steam. It is the craziest thing. It's basically saying, yes, this would have been E3, but it's been canceled. So you're actually at their E3 presence playing a game. You even get a weapon, Mark. You get a T-shirt gun.
Fantastic.
And there's all these robots, basically security to make sure no one breaks into their stage at E3. So you're going around, and they have collectibles. They call them little marketing like tchotchkes and things that you get a point where you have to get so many of them. And you're essentially going around where all their game like little presentation areas would be, where they look like the game they're presenting. So there was just everything. Serious Sam level, the Fall Guys level. The Fall Guys level was awesome. This Fall Guys is a game that kind of looks like it's like a weird,
that looks so good,
odd, like little fun battle royale, but you're not really killing anybody. But you actually go in there and you see all those little guys, and you could hit them with your T-shirt gun, or you can knock.
Did you ever shoot a T-shirt cannon?
I've never done it.
IRL, super fun.
I can only imagine if you hit somebody, bonus. Oh,
yeah. The first time I ever like tried a T-shirt cannon, it was stupidly in a hallway in the basement of a place I was working, and I didn't think it would have nearly as much power as it did, and I accidentally broke a ceiling tile and an exit sign. That was fun. So then I didn't aim it that close at people, but I definitely did shoot it into crowds at some like hockey games and stuff. Super satisfying. Yeah, really fun.
Yeah. So you go around, you collect all the levels. It tells you what to do to basically walk through it. It's very fun. Actually, had some interesting gameplay, which was very fun. It's a first-person shooter essentially. And then there is a boss, Mark. There's a boss fight. And it's like all these screens, and you shoot discs at it, and you got basically a gravity gun. Gravity glove, kind of like the power glove, and then you beat the game. And it actually takes you to a fake website at the end. So I was like, and the boss was actually hard to beat because my computer elite skills with mouse and keyboard are not as what they used to be. So, but man, they nailed it. They won E3 with that.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I wish I had something to play it on. I've pretty much completely retired my 2013 MacBook Pro, and I'm using my iPad, the one that I was talking about earlier with Fortnite. That's what I'm using to record this podcast right now. That's what I'm using as my day-to-day computer for both like work and pleasure and everything else. So I don't have a PC that could run that game on Steam, but it does sound incredibly amusing.
Yeah, no 4K, no ray tracing, sadly.
Nuts. The last thing I've been playing is Smash Brothers released their first fighter of the Fighter Pack 2, I suppose. Min Min from ARMS. Big surprise there because we knew that it was going to be an ARMS character, but kind of figured it would be Spring Man or Ribbon Girl. Really cool to see that it was not only another female added to the Smash Brothers roster, which I think, they need some more females in there, but also just a character that it was kind of like a, I don't know, second tier Splatoon character. Like it's not one of the Splatoon mascot kind of people that you'd think on cover art. But I really liked Min Min as a character. I thought she was kind of cool. I loved the reveal for her with Captain Falcon and everything. I loved it. And she's a very cool character in the game. The distance attacks, if you can keep people at a distance, it's awesome. If they get up close to you, it's not awesome, but it's one of those things that you have to balance, and you can switch between which, fists she has on the end of her arms to do different things. So as always with Smash Brothers, I shouldn't be surprised that it's incredibly nuanced, incredibly well balanced, and fits in the rest of it while bringing something brand new to it. And they're starting off Fighter Pack 2 really, really well. Can't wait to see who they're doing next. And again, the Fighter Packs always bring me back to Smash Brothers. And not only did I play the game with her, I ended up playing through classic mode with a few other people that I just hadn't gotten around to. And, one simple character download got me to put several more hours into Smash Brothers. So really, really cool addition. If you haven't checked her out and you're still interested in Smash Brothers in any way, definitely add her to the roster and get ready for Fighter Pack 2.
Yeah, Logan has to buy the character yet, which is weird because he normally would. And I don't know if he's just waiting till more characters come up, but yeah, he would normally bring it up, and then we would get back into our daily 7-match best of, and he would beat the crap out of me, but I would still have fun and mock him. Yeah. Yep. So I'll have to remind him it's out, and maybe he'll want to pick it up because he just traded it. Yeah. I just sold a game of his on eBay, and so he's got money now.
Cool. And I think. No, I didn't because I didn't pre-order the Fighter Pack or anything like that, but I bought it even a couple of days after that direct, after it was released, and I still got the bonus costume for the Mii fighters.
Yeah.
It was, the Zelda, whatever you call it, champion armor or whatever the hell it is, the ancient armor or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking to buy it now, I think that still might be a thing, but it might not be. It might be expired already, so don't hold me to that. But anyway, I still got it a few days after it was released, so thumbs up there. But there are new Mii fighters as well, Vault Boy is there and a few others.
Yeah.
So very cool if you're into the Mii fighters. And they're pretty cheap, too. I think they're 90 cents each or something like that, or even less. So lots of fun stuff to bring you back into Smash Brothers if you've been lapsed like I had.
Yes.
You have one more game on your list?
Yeah, I've talked about this before, but I just want to give everybody an update. I am now level 42 in Ring Fit. I've done it basically. It's now part of my normal workout. I go with elliptical one day, do Ring Fit the other. Really love it. Lots of new exercises have been built in. Some are rigorous, some are not. The handshaking, Mark, I'm doing this. And that is a powerful exercise. Then there's basically the hip shake, which is just weird. I'm why is that worth so many points? But
hey, listen. When you have to do the dance and that you get the arm wiggle and the hip shake all in once, you're going to be cutting up the dance floor with your
it's
new
like belly dancing.
Ring Fit, exactly. Your
Exotic
Ring Fit shaped
ring
body.
fit dancing. Yes.
And you're just gonna get every man and woman in the room just looking at you, being like, "Ooh,
Guys,
where'd that sexy man
this was
learn
a
some
video
dance moves?"
podcast. I think you would be signing up to see Mark's TikTok.
I am right now
accounts.
wiggling my hips and shaking my hands. So it's
don't lie, Mark.
it's quite
Hips
an
don't
exotic
lie.
display. They do not, and so they're Nintendo's just getting you ready for the dance floor, my friend.
I think so, and I'm really enjoying this. It's a good workout. Typically, you do about 35 minutes, get about 150 calories burned off. If I'm going to increase it, I would say my least favorite exercise right now is mountain climbers. They suck, but it's very effective.
Yeah.
But this brings me back to Smash, though. I really think a Ring Fit character or boss or even the ring could be a power-up. I love this. I think these characters make so much sense. I think it'd be so much fun. Do it. This game is like a surprise success. I could see this really be a lot of fun. If the Wii Fit trainer got in Smash, there's no reason why the ring or the ring guy or the Drago boss shouldn't be in this game.
Yeah, I think even more than the Drago boss, because I think he'd be a cool like boss to add to Smash Brothers, or something cool to interact with a Ring Fit stage. You know, come down and stamp on stuff or whatever. I really think the Ring Fit Adventurer would be a great addition because you have very unique abilities with the ring of, you know, sucking people close to you, blowing people off the stage, hitting them with the ring, doing little, you know, punches and kicks and like crunches and all that kind of stuff. The moveset is kind of built in, just pick and choose from what's in the game. And like you said, if Wii Fit Trainer can work, there is nothing stopping this guy or gal from working in the game as well. I think that is a brilliant idea, and I will be very disappointed if it's not added.
And people will hate it as well when it's announced.
What won't people hate nowadays? So you might as well do something that's going to make some people chuckle.
Well, you know what will make people really happy, Mark? I was talking about the news in Nintendo's Treehouse Live.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll make a lot of people really happy.
Yeah. So this just came up out of the blue, I think a day before. There's going to be a Treehouse Live. Treehouse Live is part of typically Nintendo's E3 event where they basically just play games with the developers, people from the Treehouse. It's a lot of fun. This is really Nintendo's first, I guess, live type of COVID type of experience. This was going to be breaking down the gameplay of the Origami King, which is coming out this Friday. And there was going to be a surprise Wave Forward non-Nintendo property announcement. Yep. And Mark, you didn't get excited about this at all.
No, I definitely didn't go to Twitter and say, hey, let's have a whole lot of fun wildly speculating of what this game could be. Oh, wait, yes, I did. I wanted to see the triumphant return of Cool Spot. Now, okay. To be fair, I didn't make this post on Twitter to like get my hopes up about anything. I really just wanted to see the stupidest things people could come up with. I knew we would not see a new Cool Spot game. The chances were like 1 in a billion. I just really wanted to have fun. So I tagged a few people that I thought could get the ball rolling. They weren't the only people I wanted to or hoped to hear from. I just wanted to start a stupid fun conversation. But because of the timing, I think, of when all this happened and what happened, it could be perceived as like, you know, we were all disappointed. But personally, I was like, I didn't care. At the end result, I just wanted to see what stupid things people could come up with. So like I said, I did Cool Spot. Sean Caprice at Earthworm Jim. And Edward Vernell. Like, come on, man. He was just knocking people down left and right. Like, you know, Earthworm Jim's and Atari. He was just slapping bitches around. It was great. He did eventually say, what was it, Bad Dudes or Karnov or something?
Yep. Good picks.
Eternal Champions fighting game. Anyway, Corey Dierig said Ninja Turtles, which I thought was great.
Yep.
Tiger Woods Golf Story from Tim.
I love it.
I thought was one that made me laugh the hardest.
Is that where you like run into you drive away from your house and run into something in your neighborhood because you're high on like painkillers?
Yeah. Joel, aka Falcon, said Taifu Wrath of the Tiger remake. That was an old PlayStation game.
Oh boy.
2D Bayonetta from at Nindy Nation. Yeah. So that was, and I said to that one, like, yeah, Way Forward makes some great demakes and demasters, whatever. So I think everyone was kind of feeling the same way. We were all feeling that it was going to be more of Mummy Demastered or, a Shantae style game. Sure. For something. That's everyone was kind of going in the same direction of an old franchise that needs some new love in the Way Forward style that we know and love. And Todd, what did we get instead?
Well, Mark, I think it was the game everybody really wanted, and that is that franchise that has just captured children's attention for years.
Right,
Bakugan.
Yeah, I totally know what that is.
Yeah, Logan. I asked Logan, I'm like, do you remember Bakugan? He goes, kind of. And he's 14. So if anybody should know what Bakugan is, it's him.
Yeah. Yeah, he 100% should. So anyway, they announced Bakugan Champions of Vestoria. I'll be honest with you. I shut this off almost immediately after I realized that that's what they were talking about. Because, at first, because they ended this direct, and also Origami King, Paper Mario, looks fantastic.
Yes.
I
looks
can't wait to pick that game up.
Gameplay should be good. Yeah. Great writing. Comes out Friday. Yes.
That game looks great. I don't want to take anything away from that. But so when I see this Bakugan thing, I'm like, okay, so there's the Way Forward game up next. What is this? Is this what we have to sit through to get to Way Forward? Is this like and one more thing? And then so I'm watching and I see that this game comes up and I'm like, okay, fine, something for the kids. Let's get to Way Forward. And then I see the people from Way Forward sitting there being like, this is our new game. And I was just like, oh, all right, cool. And I just shut it off and I moved on with my day. And then I go onto the internet and it's just like spewing hatred. I'm like, come on, guys, I got to pay the bills. Like Shantae's great, but probably doesn't keep a big studio in with the lights on or whatever. So, fine. It's Bakugan. We still got a great Shantae game like 3 weeks ago. Like, shut up. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so that was the internet sucks sometimes, but yeah.
I will say something though. They have never made a game that looks like Bakugan, which Bakugan looks. I mean, I'm not a fan of the series, but this is like kind of a brawler type of game. The premise of these little toys are like balls. You throw them down on the ground and they transform into like these like beasts and things that beat each other up. It was kind of like the Beyblade type of era of Japanese. There was an anime about 15 years ago. I looked, the last games that came out were early 360 games and DS games.
Oh, okay.
We have not seen Bakugan in about 10 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it's definitely not on anybody's radar. But the fact is they made this game look in that style, highly artistic 3D rendered, a little bit of cell shading as well. At least tells me these guys can just pretty much do anything they want because they captured so many different art styles. What I want though is someone like Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, whoever, so they can just be them and do awesome games they want and not have to pay the bills with these licensed games where they may not be passionate. Maybe they love this series. I don't know. But it feels like this seems like something they have to do to basically continue to revenue so they can do their passion projects. And WB is publishing this, which I found weird. How did they get in the mix? They own this somehow? Like,
yeah, who did the Bakugan cartoon? Was that WB or did they bring it over from Japan or something like that? Maybe
or licensing rights
or grab the game. I mean, who knows? Could eventually be owned by Microsoft. Who knows? Microsoft
order with
buys
the
yeah, right.
Do we get? They're like the bonus, the +1.
I guess, yeah. You know what would be funny? Speaking of the WB thing, and I don't know if they're even looking to do this, but I've heard that Apple Arcade, they are looking to switch some things up. I think it'd be hilarious to see Apple start buying up studios because they could buy up pretty much any studio that they want and
Yes.
they are already trying to make Apple Arcade a thing. So if they decide to buy, let's say, WB and Way Forward and a few other dozen studios, like they could be a major player. And especially with Macs switching from Intel to their own, Apple's own ARM infrastructure, Silicon. Man, yeah, that is going to be a game changer, because for anyone that doesn't know or doesn't realize what that means if you make a game, it can run natively across iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, and new Macs. The transition is going to take 2 years, but that would be a massive, like think of the games on the App Store that are just instantly going to be able to run on a Mac. Yeah, Apple could really start like just going crazy with this stuff and like really, really making a play into the gaming space with Apple TV again. You know, like these games are going to run on everything, so it's going to be pretty wild to see the next couple of years. And if they start making some plays with the money that they have, whew, man, it's going to be intense. So
and it doesn't seem like Apple would be a publisher that would meddle much and let these people make the games they want.
From the early Apple Arcade, anything I've read from any early Apple Arcade developers, it was, we would not have been able to get this game made from any publisher, especially mobile publishers, because they just like, the games are just not money-making games.
Yeah. Like
they're just weird little indie titles and some like really like out there stuff. And especially mobile, where it's all like, you know, continuously going back, trying to get more, you know, they want you to spend more money on coins and this and that and whatever, like, you know, like mobile games do. None of them are like that. So
they don't have to play to microtransactions if they're part of the Apple Arcade.
No,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So they're doing a very different approach. And you know, the counter to that is apparently they have been meddling a whole lot in the Apple TV Plus stuff, like all those shows, or at least most of the shows. So they seem to meddle in some stuff and leave other things alone. Maybe it's whatever VP is in charge of whatever thing. I don't know, but could be an interesting couple of years if they decide to do some more gaming acquisitions instead of just saying like, hey, indie studio A, do what you want and here's some money and it's going to be an exclusive on Apple Arcade. So who knows? Could be some interesting stuff.
Definitely. And then we transition to something that's a little different. That's Devolver Digital. I talked about the actual. I played their event, but what they actually presented, and I encourage everybody to watch it. But I would say it's adult.
I was just going to say, not with the kids.
Not with the kids. Swearing and violence. And they basically have created like their own subplot / storyline from when they started their events to like just continuing it with a weird underbelly of just oddity in the storytelling that they're doing. It's
like, remember a few years ago with Nintendo Directs, and they were doing the whole like Reggie bot and
Mega 64,
what's his face was it was even some like live action stuff, but they were doing like the what's his name? But the other guy got like stranded on an island and wanted a donut or some crazy shenanigans. Anyway, it's like that. Like if they were like Nintendo did that, and that's like the Nintendo playful family friendly version. This is like the alternate darkest universe, darkest timeline version of that.
If you've ever watched that. Yeah. It's very weird. Yeah. So they continued that, but the fun part is they incorporated like real people like into this, and they had Jeff Keighley, which is a very weird interview where the woman just was like fawning over Jeff Keighley. Sonic Fox was on this, obviously. Shu Yoshida.
Yep.
It was so weird. And then Phil Spencer talking to the Carrion Beast.
That one was so great. My wife walked in on that one. It was like, no, I just turned around and walked out.
And then what was it? Somebody's uncle that worked for Nintendo was the other guest. Gotta love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, but they actually had games. So the first game, Shadow Warrior 3, looks like a cocaine-fueled martial arts game, which I am digging. It looks crazy and cool.
It really, really looks impressive. I want this to come to console so bad. Next gen console. I want this to be like one of the first games that they say this is not going to run on an Xbox One. This is Xbox Series X only. Like, do that. Late 2021, early 2022. Let it be on PC for a bit, and then shove it down our face holes on next gen platforms exclusively. Because it doesn't look like You look at it and you say like, okay, this is going to melt my Xbox One.
And the gameplay just looked really inventive as well.
Yeah. So that looks awesome.
Yeah, Weird West is another game that kind of takes almost like a it kind of felt like a tactical type of game, maybe a strategy RPG type game, but with weird elements in the Wild West. So I don't know if it's for me or not, but it definitely looked cool and fun.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that one. I don't know, again, if it's for me, but yeah, looks cool. Not as into that one as I was Shadow Warrior 3, for sure.
Yeah, Blightbound. It's a early access game. Apparently, it's a side-scrolling action RPG. Maybe this is one I thought that was. I thought this one was more like a strategy game as well, but I guess I was wrong. But coming to Steam July 29th. If you want to check that one out.
Yeah, that's a co-op dungeon crawler side-scrolling action RPG.
I'm looking at it right now. For some reason, I thought I saw tiles, and for some reason, I thought it was like strategic, where you could only move in certain areas. But apparently, it's truly action oriented RPG. Okay,
cool. Looks cool. And then the one you mentioned before, Carrion, PC, Switch, and Xbox One. This is going to be a Game Pass game. So sadly, I was like, oh, this looks like something I would want to play on Switch. And then I remember the Game Pass thing, and it was like, well, looks like something I don't want to pay for on Switch. Shit.
It's like a Game Pass game.
Yeah. It looks cool though. You play as the monster, which I thought was kind of neat. So you play as the carrion monster, taking out humans and absorbing them into you. If you've watched Stranger Things season 2, or the thing, or something. I was going a bit more modern with mine, but the thing would definitely be more. The old guys
here to remind you of.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I appreciate about you. Anyway, so it looks. It just looks weird, pixelated for sure, and definitely looks indie-like. But I love the twist of playing as the monster. It's great.
Yeah, it's very neat. Disc Room, really didn't get to see much of this game. Looks like just a puzzle-based game, if you're into that.
Yeah, I love the description of that. What if the saw blade aisle in Home Depot was a massive labyrinth?
Yes.
And also all the saw blades were mobile and had their own very special way of trying to kill you.
Yeah, don't die.
Love that description.
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely not be going to Home Depot anymore. Anyway, Fall Guys.
Yeah, that's the basically ultimate knockout. It's basically a battle royale type game, but it's uber cute. You have these like little guys, you have costumes, and you're apparently just supposed to get these little balls and move them to the different area, and it's basically last man standing.
Yeah, it looks like Wipeout or Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, if you remember those TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And only your tiny, weird little... This looks delightful. Like,
yes.
Speaking of games that'll make me turn my PlayStation 4 back on, like The Last of Us or this weird little stupid-looking game, that might be this one. This looks awesome.
Yes. And it's funny because Xbox had Carrion, PlayStation had Fall Guys. So two sides of the coin, I guess.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Then Serious Sam 4. You know what Serious Sam 4 is? It's extreme first-person shooting. I don't know if there's more to say than that.
One thing more to say, it's PC and Stadia exclusive right now. WTF there. They brought the Stadia axe swinging for this one. So, that was a thing.
Wow. Good job, Stadia.
Hey, they're still in the race, I guess.
Yes, they are.
What do we got next? Olija, I guess. Side-scrolling game, Skeleton Crew Studio. That's the harpoon. Your weird-looking harpoon killing something or other. Again, very indie looking, but
similar art style to Carrion in regards to that, like almost like that very tall 8-bit game. They're like tall and skinny, you know, they're not, but the art style and the fluid movements are what makes it really unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks interesting for sure. That's PC Switch, so Switch did get a little bit of love along with, you know, PC everything. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Then the next event was Ubisoft Forward Part 1.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yes. So this is Ubisoft really giving us an E3 style presentation, high production values. Nothing was done basically with a zoom camera or anything like that. So appreciate that people are learning how to present and prepare in a very stylistic manner. I will say that most of these games were games we had already seen or had been spoiled, excluding one game, which really stood out to me because I'm like, is this Splinter Cell with Fortnite?
Yeah, that was a surprise. And that's a mobile game, correct?
Yeah, it is. It was very interesting because I did not expect that. So I'm like, I don't know if anybody wanted that game, but it's another Tom Clancy game, but it's a mobile game.
Yeah, shoot, I can't remember the name of that one either. And it's sadly not on the article that I'm looking at.
I think the event was, it was definitely one of the most polished so far we've seen this year. But what about the actual content? Anything got you excited?
Content-wise, I thought it was cool to start off with Watch Dogs Legion. I mean, we kind of knew everything they talked about, so I thought it was cool to start it with that short film. I kind of wish it was they talked about what we were going to watch first, because they played this short film that was really stylistic and really cool, and I was digging it, but at the same time, the entire time I'm watching was like, is this an opening cinematic? Why aren't they showing gameplay? What the hell is this? That kind of stuff. So it took away from what I was actually watching, which ended up being really cool, but I want to go watch that again now that I know that it's a short film based on the game. So I think if they had have kind of reversed that and said, okay, like here's a bit about the game or whatever, or just had someone get up and talk about that first and say, hey, we're so excited for Watch Dogs. We've also got this talented team of animators, this great director that we want to show off this short film that's, Animatrix style or something like that. Are there going to be more of these? This could be really cool. And I think just getting into the mindset of, hey, this isn't gameplay. This isn't even in-game cinematic. This is a short film based on this world. So yeah, I kind of dug that in retrospect. But while I was watching it, I was like, what the hell? Like, come on, you're wasting 15, 20 minutes on Watch Dogs. Like, and I'm watching some canned BS CG animated, whatever kind of thing. Like, what does this have to do with like, you're wasting 15 minutes of my time? I am excited for that game. It looks really cool. And like I said, retroactively, I was excited about that cool, mini trailer, short film, or whatever. Aside from that, Assassin's Creed is always going to interest me. So very, excited to learn more about that world and that game. Sadly, I didn't watch the whole gameplay thing after this direct, or after this presentation. So I saw enough to be totally in, which is fine for me because, I'd rather play the Assassin's Creed games than watch someone play them. And then Far Cry 6 looks great. Giancarlo Esposito looks badass, and those games are always fun, right? So let's see what kind of mayhem we can drop with those. But I did expect that kind of. We got the teaser trailer. I thought this was going to be a reveal trailer. It was exactly what I expected. No big surprises there in terms of like, gameplay or anything like that. We got release dates for a lot of this stuff, which I thought was really nice. It's not just, especially with the COVID-19 current situation in the world of games continuously getting pushed back, big gaps in all forms of entertainment, movies, whatever it is. It's nice to get some release dates. It's nice to know that, yes, at this moment in time, soon mildly soon or later, whatever it is, there's still release dates on things. So we will be entertained on these dates, like, October 29th for Watch Dogs, for instance. So yeah, that kind of stuff definitely got me engaged. I thought it was nice and succinct ish. They didn't ramble on for 2 hours or something like that, which, some during E3, some of these big third-party companies have had, hour and a half, 2 hours plus presentations. So these things sticking to a more concise time frame, I think, is a good way to go. What about you? What do you think?
I really, the biggest part was there was really no surprises. Everything was leaked. Hyperscape was leaked, which is their new, multiplayer game, which is going to be looks cool. It's more futuristic, playing like in a city versus a countryside or something like that, which makes it feel different. Somebody said, "Hey, is this Ready Player One, the multiplayer game?"
Basically. Yeah,
kind of like that. Yeah.
Although, I mean, if you look at any of the story stuff, and any Fortnite fans, I highly recommend looking up like the story so far in Fortnite, because there is some very Ready Player One stuff there too. But I did love getting the story for Hyperscape, and it looks like a cool spin on Battle Royale. You can go for the crown instead of going for the VR or whatever. It's definitely an interesting one.
Yeah, Watchdog, the combat looks pretty cool. Obviously, the big draw is that you can be anyone in part of this resistance that's building. After seeing that trailer for that story mode, or the story type of, I guess this is going to be a short eventually that comes out, or is this just it? I don't know. But after seeing that, all of the really beautiful and kind of stylized look of the people in the world they're in, I want that aesthetic in the game, not just Ubisoft generic looking kind of world they've created, because I think it feels very much, it doesn't have a style. I always felt like Watchdog, it just never felt like it had a presence rather than the gameplay. So I kind of wish it had that. But yeah, Watch looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I get what you mean. If you look at Watch Dogs, just a screenshot or something like that without much context, you could say, well, this could be GTA, or this could be this third person action game, or this other third person. It doesn't have anything that's definitively Watch Dogs as far as style goes. I totally get what you mean there.
Yeah. So, and I think the big common theme is we're going to have multiple large open world games coming out within 2 weeks of each other. We've got Watch Dogs October 29th. We've got Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out November 17th. And then we've got Cyberpunk coming out 2 days later.
Oof. Yeah.
That's tough. I just kind of feel like, why couldn't Watch Dogs been a September release? Make Assassin's Creed a October release. Give some space. Just doesn't make any sense.
Even push it back further. If it's not done for the fall, leave it till. And I know we are getting Far Cry. I want to say February. Is that what they said?
February, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, even though that is first person, I'd still say maybe avoid stepping on your feet. If you look at sales numbers, you're gonna go Assassin's Creed for the fall release. Far Cry for a good, winter, February release, I think is a great time. Push Watch Dogs back till March or April. Do we need it in the fall? Is it, or could it, could pushing it back give it the time to shine? Is this just going to get stomped on by everything else in the fall, this holiday season? That, I don't understand the release scheduling. They're kind of Titanfalling themselves.
They kind of are, and I just feel like it feels like the game. If there's a game you're going to miss or you're not going to budget for, it's going to be Watch Dogs.
100%. So, yeah, that's what I mean.
So it feels like it's going to be the wait for it to be $20. Unfortunately, I think for a lot of people, because I know I will not jump on it day one. Because if I've got only so much time, it's going to be probably one of those two games. Assassin's Creed really feels like it's really embracing that more open world RPG rather than the Assassin's world, although it seemed like this had a little bit more, did have some stealth elements from it, but the actual gameplay and combat looks dope. Oh my God. You can use two shields, Mark. Two dual wield shields.
Like, put that like a plow and run through the people and then like smack them both. Oh man. Looks awesome.
I was impressed just the variety of things you could do in that combat, because Odyssey was getting very complex, I felt. Hopefully this is less complex and you can really just have some fun with the combat. But I mean, you're going to be a Viking, so you're going to throw axes and have fun, and stealth is probably not your middle name.
No. I think you're going to be sneaking into the towns or the cities or the villages or whatever, and then it's just going to be hell breaks loose. I think the aesthetic of the assassin this time, wearing the, and I'm going to do air quotes here, but even though people can't see them, hidden blade, not so hidden on the top of the arm instead. Like that aesthetic, I hope rings true to everything that they do, every decision that they make in this game about how you are encouraged to tackle things, because there's no way an assassin / Viking who wears the, again, air quotes, hidden blade on the top of their arm, showing this thing off, it is going to take the stealthy approach to anything. That is not in line with that character design. So yeah, let me sneak into a village and then let me go bananas.
Yes.
Yep. Can't wait.
Yep. Yes. And they did basically have all the gameplay with the female version of the character.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who is supposed to be the lead, one or the other. Most lately, it seems like it's both, because they will give you the game case and then they'll give you one side or other with the character. So I think that's cool. They did a great job with a female and a male alternate. And I think they're going to do another great job with that. And then leaning into Far Cry 6, I like the Far Cry games. I like the main line. I do not like the side games typically. I really think this is probably the last Far Cry game they can do in this style, unless they come up with something significantly different or some big change, because I feel like this is starting to get to that point where Assassin's Creed was, where it feels like it's wash and repeat and it needs really something to shake it up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think, because they have even taken a break, so I don't think that's the answer. That seemed to be the answer for Assassin's Creed, right? Like they took a little break to catch a breath and decide where they want to go. But I don't know if taking a break is going to fix that. So we'll see where they go after this.
Definitely. And then that was really it for the big events, but we've got an event that's coming that I think people are really excited for, Mark. This is Xbox's real showcase of their first-party library. Now, I believe they will show third-party as well. So it's July 23rd. This corresponds with the I don't know what they're calling it, the Summer of Demos or something like that, where there'll be like 60 playable demos that whole week. And this is basically, we're going to play a lot of games before their event happens. And I'm assuming there will be game demos that follow the event as well. So do you have any predictions, Mark?
Oh, any predictions for this one? I think they're going to come out swinging with a lot of their first party stuff. There's a lot of studio acquisitions that we still haven't heard what they're doing, when their games are releasing, who's working on what and that kind of stuff. So I think we're going to see a lot of that stuff, but I think people are going to get, I don't know, hyped or maybe disappointed afterwards, based on not all of these games are going to be launch games or even launch window games. Like these studio acquisitions are still new. I think we're going to get a lot of impressive looking or sounding titles, but I still don't think we're going to see that in the first 6 months or even maybe a year of Xbox Series X being released. I still think it's going to be like Halo and some third-party stuff. So I'm hoping, people don't get their expectations too high, but I'm really looking forward to seeing everything from as small as like when Battletoads is coming out to, some hopefully brand new IPs from some of these studios that they've acquired over the last couple of years. So I'm really looking forward to this event. This is my big one of the summer, I think. So I'm hoping they come out swinging, but I'm also not getting my expectations too high, saying like Xbox Series X is going to have 12 of the best looking games ever for launch day. Like, it's just, I think we have to come in with reasonable expectations, but yeah, my hype levels are pretty high.
Do you think this is their last big event before the launch?
Ooh, good question. Big event. We'll have to define big event, but I think this is going to be the biggest event that they have before launch. Yeah, I think there could be other smaller events showing off some third-party stuff, showing off some maybe smaller stuff. Something that pops in my mind is, if they don't do price here, maybe they'll have a price, little mini direct with price, accessories, maybe Xbox controller design studio getting the Series X controller added to it so you can make your own controllers and have them there for launch, that kind of stuff. If they don't cover it, if the 23rd, if this next event is all about the games, I think there's room for that hardware, accessories, extra little shit that we don't touch on in July. But I think this is going to be the big one for games.
And do you think we will get any, like, at the end, and just one more thing that's not game related?
That's not game related?
That's not game related.
No. Okay. I think the one more thing is, I wouldn't put it past them doing that. I wouldn't put. Yeah, it could be something as far as you see like a footprint or someone lowers a Lancer or something, and it's the next Gears of War game, or just some kind of weird little tease like that at the very end or something like that. But no, are you trying to hint at like Lockhart or something like that release?
I'm trying to just understand how things will be announced if they do.
Okay.
Because I don't know if Lockhart will make an appearance until they talk about the cost of Series X. I just think it would be hard to just square those two away. Then they have to start talking about why is Lockhart? What is a Lockhart? Why should I get one? I'm confused. What is these things that they're telling me? So yeah, I don't know if they'll do anything like that either. I think if they do, it's going to be hard to do all of the games plus announce a price of Series X plus another box. So if they do have another event, I think it'll be maybe this is where it gets hard. They're going to start running out of time, Mark, to pre-order and all these things that they have to do for retail. Apparently Sony's supposed to have an event in August, more of a state of play in August, where because they held things back apparently. Which is probably going to be, it's the first gameplay of Call of Duty. All the fun things they're going to probably do. Maybe more information about the pricing. But yeah, we're running out of time with these boxes. But to your point, I think there will be, what I'm hoping is we get the launch titles. Like just secure, say, this is what's coming this fall or this year in 2020 that you'll be playing on Series X. That's all I want.
Yeah,
I don't 100%.
Care. Yeah. Halo, I want that. Forza, whatever.
But I also want them to put up, because they've talking about all these game studios. And I want to know which each one of them is making. It can be a title screen. It can be a short cinematic, whatever. I just want to know what everybody's doing. Even if it's just I made something in PowerPoint to say what the initiative is doing, because they've been hyping up this quadruple A studio. And I think people just have to understand, what am I buying the Series X for now and in the future that gets me hyped to say, God, I want to play that. It looks so cool. Because they typically don't do that. I think Halo Infinite's the one few titles they've shown well before it's coming out. So, but I think my biggest prediction for this will be we will get a Halo Infinite multiplayer drop, part of those demos.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Kind of like the good old days, Mark. Like
Makes sense. I was just going to say that.
You bought this game, and then you got this as part of it. What was it? Crackdown? The original Crackdown?
Was Crackdown Halo?
Yes, it was like the Halo 2.
Bulletstorm?
Or Halo 3. No, it was Crackdown. You got the Halo 3 multiplayer, I believe.
What was it? Bulletstorm? Was that Gears?
Was it? Sure.
Something came with Bulletstorm that I think it was. I think it was a demo for Gears or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah, I think it was with the first Crackdown. You got the Halo. Let me see if I can find this. Halo. You got the Halo 3 beta. So I think it's the perfect time.
Yep.
To drop it. see people see what it's like. And then I think Sean Free even talked about this. He said, and show us why it's going to not hold back the Series X. Because if it looks awesome on Xbox One, just imagine how it'll look on Series X. And they could even show that. They say, you're going to play this now, and this is what it's going to look like on Series X with ray tracing, all that fun stuff. So that's what I think.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't find what demo came with that. I'm going to have to look it up later. I think that's kind of what I meant. Like, I think, we should expect to see what these studios are working on, but for a lot of them, I don't expect anything more than like a still or a logo or just someone saying, hey, this is the game we're developing. I'm sitting at my desk and I'm not going to show you anything other than my face, but we're working on something. Like, I really expect a lot of that.
Yeah, I think it's time for them to shine because I think I think you can only say this so much. Well, they bought all these studios, so they're going to have all the games. Well, you can only say that so much. You've got to really start showing. So hopefully it'll be there because I'm excited because I just want to see what's going to be cool with this next generation.
Yeah.
Something that we're not going to get to see for a while, though, unfortunately, Mark, is a Nintendo theme park for a while. You know what? If this had been a different world, it would be the Summer Olympics 2020, and Super Nintendo Land would be open in Japan.
Yeah, it is. It was Gears of War. Sorry.
Oh, really? Okay.
I just finally looked that up. Man, have you seen some of the like leaked footage and stuff coming out of the Super Nintendo Land or World or whatever? It looks amazing, and the fact that it is, I mean, I understand people are going back to Disney World. The employees are all apparently scared, and Disney World's just, it's scaring me to think about people going back to a place like that when Florida's having spikes of, the worst number of cases and all that kind of stuff. So I understand this decision. It's a different world. It's a scary world, and the theme parks are taking a massive hit because of that. But as a fan, this is a bummer because that place looks amazing, and I just want them to just, copy paste that into Florida and let me go. Like, man, it's. My family and I were talking. They were supposed to go to Disney World in March. So my mother, father, brother, sister, her kids, husband, whatever, they were all supposed to go down there because we had so much fun in our trip in September that they were like, you know what, we have to book a trip and go down there too. So talking to them about like, are you guys going to think about rebooking for down the road, or are you just going to wait and see? And it's like, all of them were like, no, we do not want to go there anytime soon. So it's, like if they opened it, would the people go? It's
exactly.
It's tough, man.
Exactly. And Japan is they're very strict, and they're trying to stay with this, but it looks awesome. I mean, I'm really curious about the layout because we see all of these characters brought to life, and I'm like, are they going to be like really far away, out of your ability to even get close to them? So I really don't understand the layout yet.
Elevated.
Yeah, I really don't understand the layout yet, but it looks so cool. I mean, it's just so neat. And a fun note on this, Mark, in Japan, I love this. Japanese theme parks are implementing a screaming ban on roller coasters. Yes, love this. What? And they're saying, please scream inside your heart. That's so Japanese.
Please scream inside your heart. That is...
Yeah.
Yep. That's just...
It's 2020, folks.
Oh, yeah. Can you describe 2020 in any better fashion? Like, that is...
we learned to scream inside our heart.
That is... Man, yeah.
Yes.
Anyone with anxiety definitely knows all about that for sure. That is... Man, I don't even know how you could hold back. Like I love roller coasters, but like, when I'm on a roller coaster, there's nothing like filtering out. There's no consciousness of like stopping me from going like, woohoo, or something. Like, it's just like, I don't scream fear kind of scream on roller coasters. It's usually like a, like Yahoo kind of whatever, but like, yeah, I don't know how I'd try to hold that back.
And will even a mask stay on in a roller coaster that's going so fast? I don't know these things. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I can't wait till I can access this or at another park. Apparently, this is coming to California first in their Universal Studios, then Orlando later. So Orlando will be the last park that actually gets it. Yes, so it's going to even be harder. But Charlie Carden's brother actually has now moved to Japan. He's going to be there for 3 years. So I may potentially, my son's wanted to go to Japan, so I may potentially have a contact in Japan if this is still happening in 2022 or 2023. So folks, get ready for it. I cannot wait. This looks awesome. But lastly, Mark, last thing we're going to hit on the podcast today before we take off is we're, the inevitable cost of games and where it's been at. It's been at $60. We've had DLC and microtransactions that have kind of been able to keep the price of games down because they've been essentially at $60 since 2005 when the Xbox 360 launched. So the first game that's really making its claim on this $70 cost is NBA 2K.
Right.
And it's interesting because Xbox essentially has their own program to basically say you can buy the current gen, you will get with smart delivery, you can get the next version for free. It'll just transform your game into what can play on your box in the best way possible. And Microsoft is, I guess, proactively dissuading publishers from charging for that upgrade. Where back in the day, you had to pay full price for the next version. Yep. But apparently there's a caveat in that. They said you can bundle both versions together. Like the PS4, PS5, or whatever. And they are 2K is doing that with the Mamba edition. For $100, you get both Xbox One and Xbox Series X version and PS4, PS5. And they will not allow game companies to charge you a fee to upgrade. What do you think? Games aren't cheap anymore, but they're a hobby. They're entertainment, right?
Yeah, I really hope no other developer follows suit with this. Like, I hope all the other developers, and especially even first party, I think if Microsoft and Sony both come out of the gate saying, no, our games are going to be the same price, like, we're not charging for upgrades, we're not doing this bundling bullshit. And that's, again, going back to last time, Sony hasn't really said anything that's making me believe that that's the full way that they're going to go with this. I really expect to see some remastered editions from Sony. I think they've clarified a little bit about the Spider-Man thing that I was confused about last time, but like, I still think their messaging is nowhere near as clear as Xbox saying, like, you buy this once, you get it on everything. Like, that is it. So I hope I hope Microsoft first party studios lead the charge and say, look, the games are going to be the same price. There's no upgrade cost. There's no this, there's no that. I hope either Activision or Ubisoft or someone else takes that initiative and says, yeah, no, we're not charging anymore. And EA looks like an asshole. If they're leading the charge and everyone else goes, what do you mean? We can charge $70?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, let's all do that.
Yeah.
I really hope game studios say, no, we have competing games, we're going to charge the same amount, and B, people say, okay, yeah, if this game's $70 and this game's $60, I'm not buying any EA games until they come down and match the price. So people speak with their wallets, and I hope other game devs say, you guys are just being greedy. We're going to capture the market share this holiday season. We're going to be coming out at $60 and you guys are going to look greedy. So, haha. And then, they'll have to kind of reverse course, I hope, because $70 US is $95 Canadian at the current exchange. So I'm looking at $100 games right now. It's already $80 for anyone that doesn't normally buy games in Canada. I'm already looking at $79 games. So, that's not an increase that I am happy with by any means.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The one caveat I will say is to say that games should not get more expensive is kind of an art argument because entertainment across the board has got more expensive. Right. Cost of cable, cost of TV, movies, whatever. And quite honestly, games are one of the few mediums in entertainment that doesn't have multiple chances to get you to pay more. Like the movie theater, then the video on demand, the digital disc, and then they can charge licensing fees to have it on TBS or a cable channel.
So they essentially I'll argue that with DLC.
True, but once you bought the game, and especially the way things are going with backwards compatibility, essentially, if you bought Grand Theft Auto 5 on 360, I think that's backwards compatibility. You never had to pay for it again on an Xbox console, right?
Right. But you could spend a ton of money on GTA Online.
But that's all optional, right?
True, but it's
versus
also
if you got
optional.
Because like if you have a VHS player, you don't get the DVD. You don't get the Blu-ray every time it gets upgraded. Yeah, so I think I was like,
but it's optional.
Yeah, like on Steam, I could buy a game on Steam once. I never have to buy another version of the game ever again, typically.
I suppose, but that's again where smart DLC comes into play. And also, okay, let's say if you bought a movie on VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray, those are what, $20-25 a pop on average?
Typically at launch, yeah.
Let's say, pretend, just to make this easy. So let's say 25. So you're at $75 if you've bought all three versions of that for one movie. Let's say you saw it in the theater. So you're talking maybe another, what's a movie theater ticket?
Bucks.
$10, 15, whatever.
Yep.
So we're at $85. So over a lifetime, and that's a big if you bought VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. So over a lifetime of the hardest of hardcore fans is spending $85 on a movie entertainment franchise kind of thing. So, $70 for a game plus DLC that is optional, but so are DVDs and Blu-rays. I still think that's wildly expensive. I don't know.
Well, I think I think the cost of living, inflation, everything. I mean, your car you buy, it doesn't stay the same cost. Because people want to get paid more, cost of living up, you got to pay people more. The cost of games have gone up because you've gone from standard HD to 4K, voice assets, all those things. And I think I'm fine with it going to 70, but I'm living in La La Land because most likely they are not going to just magically pay people more. Most likely. Mm-hmm. They are not going to – they're going to increase their profit, and that's what companies do. They want to make money because the cost of games, I've heard anywhere, has gone up 3x since 2005, and they're not charging any different. And the amount of people you need on a staff is going that way. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I struggle with games and how much they've cost, whereas we've got even what Star Wars Squadrons, it's going to be a $40 game. So EA – we should be applauding them. Everybody hates EA. And guess what? They're giving you a new property with a campaign, multiplayer, and everything. And they said no DLC. So they're doing exactly what we want. And nobody is giving them any credit.
That's very true. I will say the video game industry as a whole constantly lauds the fact that they are now making more money combined than movies and television. And I think they could possibly even throw music in there. So it's like the number one entertainment category in the world. So I'm not, again, like if they are paying their people more, but if it's just companies making more money when they're already the number one entertainment medium on the planet, I don't know. Cry me a river. I want to pay the same amount or less for my game.
Of course, to your point, because their cost of their product is 3x. So it's very easy to go down that road. But the point is, and we know that the audience has grown with video games too, right? Mm-hmm. So they're selling more copies most likely, and now they can sell. They can sell digitally, and they don't have to take a 30% cut by selling it through Target. And I did look at the gross margins. You can look up gross margins of a company, and I will say this, although it's kind of EA's gross margin actually has declined.
Oh wow.
It was like 75% a couple of years ago. Now it's at 54%. So that's still a huge margin, but
Yeah.
they making revenue and profit. And I imagine Anthem probably didn't do them any luck.
I was just gonna say, is that the reflection on the games they've released and their practices?
Yeah.
Because like, you look at a company like, again, I'll bring up Fortnite, that makes like quadrillion dollars a day just on mobile. That's like, they're doing something right. They're still good with the public. And is it just an EA problem, or is this like
I don't know. Okay, this is a great website, by the way. Activision Blizzard. Their profit 24%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
It's amazing. And they've always been one of the most successful companies with Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. So I don't know. And it may be because they just only have like 3 different franchises. You know, if Warcraft was off, I don't know. Maybe they're just at a point where they need to do something significant. But Call of Duty seems to always be doing great. So I don't know.
Yeah.
They let go like how many
Very
people?
Strange.
Yeah, they let go a ton of people too. So it's a weird one, Mark. And like I said, if they were going to gladly drop DLC or do those things and say, you know what, we're not going to charge you for DLC, but it's $70. I would gladly pay $70 if DLC was included, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. I've said that for a while. Like if they can find some sort of middle ground of the game costs this much and the DLCs at a reasonable price, because like Fortnite DLC is way too much. $20 for a skin or whatever you're paying on a regular basis for just a skin, but the game's free, so you can't really hit them on that. Rocket League used to do it really well, where the game cost a certain amount and the skins were at a reasonable price, but now they're doing like season passes and they have like $20 skins in Rocket League, so even they got their head up their ass. I would honestly, if there was a $40 game like Star Wars that's coming out, if they have like a $5 skin to customize your ship or do something, $5, $10 every once in a while for something that I really want, I'm going to have no problem dropping that in the game. But I think they have to find a middle ground, because like Call of Duty is a good example of this, that it's a full $70 game plus DLC that's still pretty expensive, and it's like, come on, man, like you got to break somewhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, and the buy this version, get this version is going to be a limited time problem. We know that because eventually people will move on to the next console, and you will not get dedicated PS4 versions or Xbox One. You'll just get the Series X. Yeah. But the fun thing to look at, Mark, is what did games used to cost? So I put an ad from Toys R Us for the Super Nintendo and its games. I'm not sure what year this is. The Super Nintendo is selling for $129.
That's crazy.
You could get Super Game Boy with guide for $40 for your Super Game Boy. But the fun part is the cost of games. They range from Miss Pac-Man, $40 for just Miss Pac-Man. Come on. Yoshi's Island, $52.99. Donkey Kong Country, I'm assuming 1 or 2. 3? Hard to see. Really small ad. Yeah,
looks 52. Like 3. The box art looks like 3.
$52.99. Madden, $59. But then you get into Mortal Kombat 3, $70, Mark. Yeah, you got crazy. An NBA game, Hang Time.
Street Fighter Alpha 2, $69.
Yeah.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, so it's just imagine how much that game would cost today. $70 in probably, we're talking like 1995, 94 maybe.
That's some big.
That's like $100.
Easy.
Yeah. And then we move on to the next generation, because you know what was better? N64, Mark, because those carts had megabits and pieces and things and rumble packs. By the way, a rumble pack was $25.
Crazy.
The fun part though is N64 was $170. A controller was only $35. That's a bargain.
Not too bad. Yep.
But if you wanted N64 Killer Instinct Gold, $80.
Yep. Welcome to Canada.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy. I mean, almost every N64 cart was $80.
Yeah. Yeah, Star Fox, Ken Griffey, GoldenEye. Strangely enough, when you think of Nintendo, you think they're the ones that always charge full price for their games, and they never drop in price.
Ever. Nope.
N64, you're looking at Mario 64, Cruisin' USA, Wave Race, and Mario Kart, all at $75. All $5 cheaper than the third-party games. That's crazy, but I'm guessing that was the cart tax, maybe?
Well,
of third parties having to buy those cartridges.
Actually, if you look at all these games, they are, maybe excluding Cruisin' USA, they are all first-party.
Oh, it's Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, well, where's Shadow of the Empire? Is it in there?
And Killer Instinct. Shadow of the Empire is on the left-hand side there.
Killer Instinct definitely was a rare. It was a rare Nintendo published title.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. was their baseball game. Yep. GoldenEye. Yeah, so maybe everything but Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. Yeah, that's definitely not theirs.
Weird, but that was a Nintendo... Was that Nintendo published?
Must have been.
Because it was a Nintendo exclusive, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it never showed up anywhere else. Maybe PC, but yeah.
Yeah,
I think there were $5 less because those were older titles. Maybe they just gave you the $5 discount.
Strange.
That's when you only got one game as a kid for like a year.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Wow.
I always had like third-party knockoff memory cards and rumble packs and shit, like because the Nintendo ones were just wildly expensive.
How was the power of the Looney at that time, Mark? Was it worth more?
No, N64 days, it might have been close to on par. It might have been less. Yeah, there was a point where we hit pretty much on par with you guys that I thought it was like just the best thing ever. And I was buying stuff all over the place because everything dropped in price. And then, so that was some good times, but it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. And in the future, Mark, I have a future game picked out for us. It's called The Game Price is Right. And it's all about guessing how much classic games cost today, whether loose in box, mint in box, complete in box. And you'll get 5 games, I'll get 5, and whoever gets closer, out of 5 wins. So we'll save that for a future episode because we are running long, but this is a lot of fun. We do it every 2 weeks. Why not? Okay, folks. Well, at this time next week, or the next time we record, Mark, we may do a special one-off for the Xbox event if it's not very close to when we actually record. So we will see. Yeah, that's like I said, that's going to be my event of the summer, and that is coming up a little under the 2-week mark. So we'll either record early or release the episode early or do a special episode. We'll see what our schedules are saying. But if you do the Last of Us one, maybe we'll do that as a regular episode, or we'll figure out a release schedule. We'll do that off air so no one has to listen to us figure things out. But anyway, we'll have 2 very exciting episodes coming up in the next little while. Yes. So, folks, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts on what you want to hear or see on the show, let us know. And how do you do that? Follow us on Twitter at @TEOXTRA and at @the_Canardian on the Facebook group or page. You can leave a review on iTunes. And you could also call the hotline at 872-225-2496. If you do either of those 2 things, you can win a code for Round Guard on Xbox. You know what? I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to throw in an Xbox code for Ottoman Empire. Perfect. Mark, I think it's time to get the full court press on these folks. I know people don't like to be heard and seen, but I think it's time for them to shine. So I think we're going to do a little bit of advertising in the Facebook group as well. All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Mark, thanks again. Always a pleasure. And folks, remember, it's always better to game together. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. Bet you don't know what I want, Jeffrey. You want Atari's 2600 video game system, only $48.84 at Toys R Us. Yeah. Only $29.97 for Activision's Pitfall 2 cartridge. Only $29.97 for the Decathlon cartridge, and just $29.97 for the Space Shuttle cartridge. More games, more toys. Oh,